use the ref as a shield, the little pop, and through goes Pollock. Man, that is Rugby. Hello and welcome to the Rugby Update. I am finally back after all the public holidays in South Africa to finally talk about some Champions Cup rugby that was finally worth watching. Over the weekend, both the Michelin Star and the McDonald's drive-thru of the Euro competitions went at it with their semi-finals, so let's have a quick look at that to see if there was anything interesting. I'll go in chronological order this week, so Challenge Cup first. Saturday kicked off with Edinburgh hosting Bath to see if it would be the Erk or the Premiership to have a team in the final. And this always felt like it was going to be Bath's power versus Edinburgh's speed. And with Bath being able to bring guys like Du Toit and Barbary and Hill on, the late game was always going to be a struggle for Edinburgh, who just did not have the same quality on the bench. Up to the introduction of that quality though, both teams were going at it pretty evenly, and both teams' turnover merchants were having great games. Edinburgh just couldn't keep up, and the final score was a fair reflection of the overall quality of both teams on the field and, dare I say it, in the coaching box. It was interesting though to see the Premiership table toppers struggle so much against Erk mid-tablers, who were fielding a back three with a combined height about as tall as my shin. Maybe one of these comps is a little better than the other one. Is what someone, not me, could have said and have it aged like milk before the end of this game. It has happened 4 times now, and it gets funnier every time. Leinster hosted the least balling out team of the 4 Champions Cup semi-finalists and went from planet-destroying atom smashers to meek little doormen showing Northampton the way to their try line. The Saints lost to Gloucester at home this year. They were not supposed to show up in Dublin and run rings around a Ninaber defence that had forgotten how to concede points. But they did, and in doing so, Henry Pollock went up against one of the toughest packs in the world and passed the test. So maybe he is the real deal, and his 2 mates Finn and Tommy aren't too bad either. They will all probably enhance a red shirt going down under later this month or next month. I must add that Leinster were very good too and came very close. They just shit the bed in the most comical way possible. Again, at least to fans of teams who they crush under their boots regularly in the Erk. Those 5-meter tap moves are things of beauty. Also, I don't know if this is presumptuous, but I feel like I must apologize to Sam Prendergast. It is likely that my little video of him making a business decision on defense during the match contributed to the pylon against the lad. And a lad he is. He's a kid playing at one of the highest levels rugby has to offer, if not the highest. He will get better on defense. He just needs to fill out a little bit. When I was 20 or 21 or whatever it is, I was just trying to get laid and get my Demon Hunter to level 30. I certainly was not one of the best attacking fly-offs in the world. It was also pretty interesting to see the Erk tabletoppers struggle so much against Premiership mid-tablers, whose star players' combined ages are like less than drinking age. Maybe one of these comps is top of the world, eh? And that last sentence is something someone could say if they had never heard of the French top 14. Sunday was preserved for the 4 teams from the actual top league in the world, starting with Lyon hosting the basket cases from Paris. I did not catch this game, but Racing 92 losing seems like the correct outcome for the season they've been having. Also, Owen Farrell's slim Lions chances took another hit as he had to leave the field early for an HIA. We will see if Andy invites his son on tour on Thursday, having already brought the one he wishes was his son into his coaching staff. Anyway, Lyon did what they needed to do, and now they face Bath in the final in Cardiff. I will be cheering for Bath because of Johan and Thomas and all that stuff. Last game of Dimanche Francais had a cracker lined up. Bordeaux hosted defending champions Toulouse in a packed-out Matmut Atlantique. And again, the club game's popularity in France had me tingling. The singing of the crowds, the giant flags, the coaches losing it on the sideline. It all complements the joy on the field so well. And I am super jealous that they have built that culture over there and we here in SA haven't. I think we had it with the Currie Cup in the 80s, but there's some caveats to that. Anyway, the game should have stopped when BLBRA scored at the kickoff of the second half because it was so cool they should have just been added into the final. It seems to me that Bordeaux have fully exercised the demons from last year's top 40 final where they got battered by Toulouse, and this time they battered Toulouse in front of their own adoring fans. That now sets up a nice mouth-watering final against Northampton in a few weeks' time in Cardiff, where there's a roof, so it should hopefully be dry. And then these two teams with their modern attacks that seem to have figured out the defensive dominance from 2018 to 2023 can go at it. I can't wait. But all of that must now stop dead in its tracks again. Coal must instead be shoveled into the fast-cooling furnaces of the domestic league hype trains, and we must all try and remember what was happening in those games. The ERC and Prem all has games again this coming weekend, and so does the top 14, which I can't really follow here. I do kind of follow Super Rugby Pacific, where things are more and more returning to the old mean. Both the Waratahs and the Force have dropped fast in the last few weeks, and the Hurricanes have shot up the table to where one would expect them to be. A nice change though is Moana Pacifica being up there on the table at the expense of the Blues, it seems. And I hope it stays this way. I want more Aussie teams to make the playoffs, just to make things interesting. I'm sorry, Tony and Mark. I wish I could swap the Blues for the Crusaders, just for the good of the game. And that was all the rugby kind of I watched on the weekend. What about all the rugby I read on the weekend? It seems the Blitzboks are the Sevens world champions. This came as news to me on Monday morning because I seem to remember that Argentina finished top of the standings, and Fiji and Spain were also above the Bockies, so how did we get here? The old format I remember had all the teams playing throughout the year, and the team that won the most throughout the season became the champion. But that was the old unbroken format, a format World Rugby decided needed fixing. Now it seems that you play throughout the season for 8 qualifying spots in the last tournament, and the team that wins that becomes the champion. And that's how the Blitzboks are where they are now. All us true believers though, and apparently a mountain of bots, do know that Argentina are truly the Sevens champions, and the Blitzboks just won a single tournament. So good on both teams, I guess. I don't know. The final news is kind of bad. Caelan Doris, who captains Ireland and Leinster and could have captained the Lions on this upcoming tour, is likely to miss the rest of the year with a shoulder injury. That sucks. And that's why I don't really like picking Lions teams before the actual squad is announced or before the actual first test happens in June. There's always a chance that your favorite guy gets injured and doesn't even make the tour. So I guess I'm kind of saying is pick your teams, have fun with it. But if you get upset about someone else's team and writes nasty things at them in the comments, you're kind of fucking stupid, because aliens could come tomorrow and abduct all the eligible players, and then we have to send in guys like me. You didn't pick me, so stop getting angry about it. Also, I'm going to stop the video right there because I don't have anything else to say. We will all convene next week, maybe. Actually, I don't know, because I'm moving house. You can't tell, but there's boxes everywhere here. And my gear might be packed away next week, so I'll see you when I see you. Bye.